let's get into the MMA drama that has fans in a chokehold right now. We're spilling everything from Islam's shocking refusal to vacate his lightweight title, to Ilia Topuria's spine-chilling warning to Charles Oliveira, and yes, even behind-the-scenes tension nobody wants to admit publicly. Buckle up, because this is going to be a full-on fight night for your emotions. Let's start with a blast from the past that's suddenly making headlines again. Gilbert Burns, our Brazilian powerhouse, recently got super real on the Pound for Pound podcast with none other than Kamaru Usman. Yep, the man who beat him in 2021 in that unforgettable, emotionally explosive fight. And get this, these two weren't just opponents, they were besties, training partners, they knew each other inside out. So, how did we get from brotherhood to brutal knockouts? Burns opened up like never before. After he dominated Tyron Woodley, he knew he was on the brink of greatness. But that greatness had one very awkward name, Kamaru Usman. Burns admitted it, he was struggling. He said, "I didn't want to call him out, but I had to. I love you, bro, but I want to be a champion too." How heartbreaking is that? Imagine having to betray your friend just to chase your dreams. That's the kind of UFC soap opera we live for. Meanwhile, Usman finally shared why he left their gym. It wasn't petty drama, it was deeper. He needed better coaching, more focused training. When did we mention he noticed Gilbert was starting to get the better of him in training? Yup. He said it himself, Gilbert's boxing was giving him problems, so he dipped, and the rest is history. Now let's talk about the other firestorm, Alexander Volkanovski straight up dragging the judges over Jose Aldo's controversial loss to Ivan Sahabi. This wasn't just disappointment, this was full-on outrage. Artie Volk went on his YouTube and let it rip. He basically said, how did Aldo not win that? He broke down every round, and honey, round 3 was where it got nasty. Volk said Aldo dropped Zahabi, kicked his face in twice, and was this close to a stoppage. But somehow, the judges gave it to Zahabi? Volk was like, bruh, how is getting elbowed on top for 30 seconds worth more than nearly getting finished? And you know what? He's got a point. This fight has fans fired up. Aldo fans are crying robbery, Zahabi supporters are calling it fair game, and everyone else is screaming for more consistent judging. Justice for Aldo? You tell us. Aljamain Sterling just threw some serious shade, and it's aimed right at Khamzat Chimaev's confidence. Everyone's been hyping Khamzat as the one to steamroll middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis, but Sterling, he ain't buying it that easily. "I want Khamzat to win," Sterling confessed, "but Dricus is a problem," and he broke it down perfectly. DDP may look unorthodox, maybe even sloppy at times, but he's strong, durable, and mixes his skills in a way that just works. Aljo even said Dricus has this crazy gas tank and doesn't get discouraged, a recipe for disaster if Khamzat doesn't finish it early. He also dropped the bomb, "My heart wants Khamzat, my head says Dricus." Oof. So we're talking broad potential. Two tanks walking at each other with zero fear and everything to lose. If this fight gets booked, you better believe it's going to be fireworks. Poor Magomed Ankalaev. The man's deadly in the octagon, but apparently he's too deadly because no one wants to touch him. Not even with a 10-foot pole. Ola just called out the entire light heavyweight division on X, formerly Twitter, and basically said everyone is ducking me. And guess what? He's not wrong. Both Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochaska reportedly said no to fighting him at International Fight Week. Can you believe that? Magomed even posted, "Is there anyone willing to fight me?" The desperation was real, and it wasn't long before the reply started rolling in. Jamahal Hill, with the swagger of a man on a mission, responded, "After I handle business June 21, I'll emancipate these hands on Abe Lincoln's double." Did he just call Ankalaev ABE Lincoln? The shade. Dominic Reyes threw in a cheeky gif, but didn't offer to step up either. Y'all, the silence is loud. The guy is stranded without an opponent, and the UFC has a real problem. What do you do when no one wants to fight the boogeyman? The American gangster himself, Chael Sonnen, is back with another headline-snatching prediction, and this one, it's too real. Chael says John Jones can't duck Tom Aspinall forever, and it's not about pride, it's about money. According to Sonnen, John hasn't made the kind of life-changing cash to just walk away. So, if he wants another check, he's got to face the British Beast whether he likes it or not. And here's where it gets sad. Aspinall, despite defending his interim title, has basically been frozen out. He just broke a UFC record, but not the good kind. He's now officially the longest reigning interim champ in UFC history. Over 534 days. not because he wants to sit around, but because John is MIA and the UFC matchmaking is dragging its feet. Aspinall told Demetrius Johnson straight up, "This isn't the record I dreamed of. I want to unify that belt." He wants to prove he's the true king of the heavyweights. And fans, we're begging for this clash to happen. If Chael's right, Jones can't run forever. That fight is coming, and when it does, it might change everything. Okay, let's talk about Islam Makhachev, because, baby, he just shook the entire UFC landscape to its core. While most fighters focus on keeping one belt, this man says, "Nah, give me two." That's right. Islam isn't just refusing to vacate his lightweight title, he wants to hold it and go after the welterweight strap. Like what? The man is already dominating at 155, but now he wants to storm the 170 division too, without letting go of his current crown? People are calling it ambitious, but let's be honest, some fighters are calling it greedy, and fans are divided. Half the MMA world is like, let the king eat, and the other half furious, screaming defend or vacate, and it gets even spicier because his featherweight rival is ready to pounce. And now enters Ilia Topuria, the undefeated featherweight champ who is basically walking through everyone in his path like a wrecking ball with a killer jawline. He recently sat down at a press conference and made jaws drop. With a calm little smirk, he said, "To be honest, I feel very sorry for Charles, but this is my job. I'm going to fulfill yet another dream, becoming champion in another division. He has to pay for Islam Makhachev." OH. My God. Did Ilia just say Charles Oliveira has to pay for what Islam did? That's some Game of Thrones style vengeance right there, and the room went silent. He wasn't even yelling, he wasn't trash talking, he was stone cold, and that made it 10 times scarier. Topuria made it crystal clear this isn't just about Charles, this is about making a statement to the whole lightweight division. And yeah, that includes Islam. Now let's shift to the Bronx himself. Charles Oliveira, the BJJ maestro, the submission king, the man who's been through it all and keeps coming back stronger. But now he's got Ilia coming for his neck and the ghosts of his loss to Islam Makhachev haunting him in every interview. People are asking, is Charles still that guy, or has the clock run out on the Brazilian warrior? Make no mistake, despite the recent loss, Charles is still one of the most dangerous lightweights in UFC history. His slick striking, that deadly ground game, and his ability to survive complete chaos have earned him the respect of literally everyone. But here's the thing, Ilia is a different kind of animal. While Charles thrives in chaos, Ilia creates it. He drags you into deep waters and makes you question your very career path. His striking is crisp, violent, and calculated. His grappling, underrated and terrifying. And if he beats Oliveira, oh lord, it's not just a win, it's a proclamation. It says, I'm here and I want Islam. And now the whispers are turning into roars. If Ilia steamrolls Charles, the next logical step isn't just a belt, it's a super fight. Can you imagine it? Featherweight champion versus lightweight champion, undefeated Topuria versus dominant Makhachev, chaos versus calculation, and let's not forget this is personal. Topuria isn't shy about his intentions. He has to pay for Islam Makhachev. That wasn't random, that was strategic. He's planting the seeds for the biggest clash since Khabib versus McGregor. But here's the dilemma. What if Islam won't budge? Because remember, the man refuses to vacate his title. He wants both belts. But the UFC doesn't let people just hold up a division forever, so what's going to give first? Will Islam move up and actually challenge for welterweight gold? Will Ilia take Charles out and force Islam to fight him next? Or will Dana White have to step in and pull rank? This is turning into a heavyweight drama in a lightweight body, and every single fighter in the top 5 is quietly panicking because they know once the smoke clears, they'll be left fighting for scraps. And while all this is unfolding, the fans are losing it. Some are chanting, "Double champ Makhachev." Others are crying out, "Don't hold the division hostage." Even the fighters are fed up. Lightweight contenders are sitting around waiting for the belt to become available while Islam plays king of the castle. And now they've got Ilia, a featherweight, cutting in line. The disrespect is real. But here's the twist. No one can deny how good Topuria is. No one. Even Makhachev has to know. If Ilia beats Charles convincingly, this is a whole new battlefield. And don't be surprised if the UFC loves that idea. two champs undefeated versus dominant. They'll market that like crazy. So now we wait. Will Islam accept the challenge? Will Ilya destroy Oliveira and set fire to the lightweight division? Or will Charles remind everyone why you don't play games with the jiu-jitsu GOAT? Final thoughts. Who's got next? So here we are. Islam Makhachev wants to be a two-division king. Ilia Topuria wants to rip through legends and paint the octagon with history. Charles Oliveira, he just wants his redemption arc, and he'll go to war for it. And meanwhile, the UFC is playing chess, not checkers, waiting, watching, preparing to unleash the biggest card of the year. We're standing on the edge of greatness or disaster. But either way, it's going to be unforgettable. Now you tell us, who do you believe in? Will Islam go double champ status? Will Ilyas smash Charles and force the UFC's hand? Or will Oliveira show he's still the nightmare no one survives? Drop your predictions in the comments. Let the debate begin.